This is the 2012 Nissan Versa radiator fan motor here. Mine wasn't working at all. So I already took it apart and fixed it, figured out what it was almost immediately as soon as I opened it up. And I'm just wondering if this happens to a lot of them. The brushes were stuck. They were stuck, so they weren't making contact. So it was not, the motor wasn't engaging. Which I don't know if it's a problem everybody has, when their motor just goes bad all of a sudden. Because where I was at, I was about to have to get a new one. And I was like, well, let me pop this thing apart. I thought it was sealed for a minute and you couldn't work on it, but come to find out, you can actually just pop these little tabs. Just be careful you don't bend them too far. And like I said, I already took this apart, so and I wish I recorded it then. But I figured I didn't see any videos for this on there, on the YouTube, so I was like, well, let me throw this out there. Maybe we can save everybody some money. One thing I do gotta say though is when you're pressing this bearing out, use like a socket that's to the rim exactly of that bearing, because otherwise you're gonna hit the race channel guide thing there, whatever, in the middle, and dent it. And yeah, I kind of did that. This one was one that I did afterwards to try to get the thing straightened out, and I just made it worse. But it works now. When I did hook it up, it wasn't working at all before, and now it works. So I mean, it was broken already, so I really wasn't losing if it didn't work anymore either after that. So anyways, long story short here, I don't really want to pop this off because it was a bitch to get it out. But so once you take this off, there's 4 brushes like this, 1, 2, and then 3, 4, spring loaded right here, and it's like these pieces of like graphite they look like, and they're just literally gonna pop out on springs when you pull this out. So what I did was took this hook here and like grabbed the springs, and there's like a slot you can slide the spring back. And so before that, actually, sorry, I took the housing or the channel that the carbon piece is in and just kind of bent it a little bit until they started moving freely, all 4 of them. And then once they're moving freely, so I held them back like that, and I took a little piece of copper wire and tied it around each piece to hold them in place, because you're trying to put this back on and the things are trying to shoot out, and it's like damn near impossible, especially with this casing on here, because this one comes off right here, comes off this way, and then the motor and everything else is still in here, and the stator and all that. So what you have to do is you have to get a socket that is, let me see, I think it was this one here. Yeah, and I use like a duct tape roll because it just happened to work perfectly, and I put it on the ground, and I put it like this way after this cover's off, and then you can just sit there and tap it with a rubber mallet, a couple taps, to make sure you got the right size socket that fits just in there. And trust me, it'll pop out, just evenly hit it. And then it dropped out, and well, the magnets kind of held it in place. You pop it out after that, and then so then I was able to put this piece on with just the motor and the rotor and stator itself without this housing. And then so after, like I said, I used the copper little 1 string per brushing spring thingy, whatever. That way, as soon as I had them all tied back so that they weren't trying to shoot out on me, I could put the motor in there, boom, it fit, and then I just snipped each one of those and pulled the wire out, and then I put this on there, and then I tapped the bearing back in with the housing, tap 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 with a rubber mallet and the right size socket, and then we're here. I apologize that I'm not going to take this apart right now, but I wish I made the video while I was doing it. I've been saying that for years now, working on cars. This is my first video, so Anyways, I might end up having to do it again when I actually replace this, because I definitely fucked these fucked that bearing race up. You can kind of see it's dented up pretty. Looks like a fun house floor. But anyways, it does work. I just used a shit ton of this stuff, which is, if you Google it, it ain't cheap, and it's very, very good shit. I don't know if it's exactly for lubricating bearings, but I'm gonna put some grease in there. So just yes. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be replacing this motor here soon. So, but it went from it not working whatsoever to it at least works now. You know, I was getting in the when I would move, when I was driving, the car was moving, traffic, you know, going down the road, air was moving through the radiator, air conditioning was cool. The car never did overheat, which was strange, because I mean, I live in Florida, and I was driving around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is just hell on earth. If you know, if you live here, you know. Anyways, so yeah, that was kind of strange. And I drove around for about an hour, didn't overheat whatsoever, which I thought was weird, because I was like, I know that fan's not working, but I guess the air moving over it was enough, because it's a small enough motor or something. But yeah, don't judge me about this putting grease on this bearing. I know it does not belong there like that, but I fucking beat the hell out of that bearing, kind of. So, but like I said, it does work. So then after that, you're just gonna squeeze or tap these little tabs back over. Make sure that they're latched over the housing there, like so. Boom. And I'm doing them just like lug nuts. I would go, you know, across to make sure that it's evenly seated in there. I'm not a professional, I'm just some guy, so. All I gotta say is, if you roast me in the comments for whatever, I don't give a shit personally. And second of all, this motor did not work whatsoever when I was first attempting to do this. So it was a win-win either way. Or win, whatever, you know. Anyways, it's my first YouTube video, man, so I will hopefully do my best to actually post some more shit when I'm in the middle of doing it instead of after the fact, because I would like to help. I use YouTube a lot, YouTube University, and I'd like to contribute too. So I appreciate it. Subscribe and like this shit, I guess, or whatever they say.